Alrighty, you guys, today is actually a review day. So what that means in my class is we will have our notes, okay, and then you'll have your review assignment today. And then next class, which today, hopefully you're doing this on October 6th. Your next class is going to be October 8th. That might be up in the air, depending on how our schedule looks when we actually come back to school. So stay tuned for that. But the next class after this class will be a test day. Okay, your test is pretty much exactly the same as your review. The numbers might be different a little bit, but the exact same types of questions. Okay, so we are going to have our review notes today. If you've been filling out the notes, printing them off, I don't require it, but I highly recommend it. You can definitely use those notes on the test. If you haven't been filling out the notes, I also link the filled out notes on Canvas as well that you are more than welcome to print off and use. What makes it hard is I filled those notes out, so you might not remember exactly what I meant when filling that out. So it's way better if you use your own notes, but those are available for you to use on the test, okay? So with that, let's get going on our notes. Okay, so numbers 1 through 3, it's asking us to identify whether the following are expressions, equations, or inequalities, okay? And we are going to identify them using the sign that we see. So looking at number 1, I see this sign right here. Okay, that's an equal sign. So that tells me it's an equation. Okay, so number 1 is an equation. Number 2, I see this greater than or equal to sign. Okay, that alligator sign. That tells me it's an inequality. Okay, if it's greater than, less than, they're not equal. The x is bigger than the 2. They are not equal. Okay, and then number 3, again, I see this equal sign. So that's an equation. We don't have an expression in here, but that is okay because number 4 is actually an expression. An expression is where you don't see an equal sign or an inequality sign. Okay, it's just a sentence, a math sentence they call it. Okay, so in number 4, now it's asking us to identify the parts of the expression. Okay, so here's our expression right here. So we need to identify the terms. Okay, remember terms are separated by plus and minus signs. Okay, so if they're separated by plus and minus signs, that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms right there. Okay, this was one of the last things we actually learned in class if you were in school. Okay, so 4 terms, so let's list them out. So I have 2x, comma, my next one is a positive 3, comma, my next one is a negative 7x, okay, and my last one is negative 5. So those are all the terms in this math sentence. Okay, coefficients, I'll use a different color. Coefficients, remember, are the numbers in front of the variables. So the variables are the letters, right? So what are the numbers in front of the letters? I see 2 letters here, these x's. So that means my coefficients are 2 and negative 7. Okay, now we have our constants. Okay, constant, think it's constantly the same. It can't change. So a constant is a number that's just by itself, no variables attached. So I see a 3 and a negative 5. Okay, and the last thing it's asking for is the variable or variables. In this case, I only see x's, so just one variable, so we just need to write one of those x's. X is the only variable, only letter we see in this math sentence. Alrighty. So now 5 and 6, it's asking us to simplify each expression. What this means is we are going to have to combine like terms. Okay, for a term to be a like term, it has to have the same variable, and that variable has to be raised to the same power. Okay, so let's look at number 5. So my first term is this 4m. Okay, 4m to the first power. There's that invisible 1 right there. So I need to find terms with an m to the first power. 4 doesn't have an m. 2m to the first power, yep, that's a like term. And then negative 10 doesn't have an m. So we can combine this 4m plus 2m. Okay, meaning I have 4 m's plus another 2 more of those m's are going to give me 6 m's. Okay, the last 2 things are just constants. They are just numbers. You can always combine just numbers. Okay, so 4 and then minus 10 or negative 10. What is 4 take away 10? We're actually going into the negatives here, right? You're taking away more than you have. So 4 minus 10 is going to give me negative 6. So our final answer, you just combine these two, right? Put them into a new math sentence, 6m minus 6, and since they are not like terms, that is simplified. Simplified. Okay, let's look at number 6. Again, we're combining like terms. So this one, it only has 2 terms, right? So I have a negative 8n to the first power, so I need an n to the first power. This 9 also has an n to the first power. So these are both like terms. This is going to make it really easy. So I have negative 8n's, and then I'm adding 9n's. Okay, so we have negative 8, or like think we're in the whole 8, and then somebody gives us $9. Right? I owe somebody $9 or $8. I give them $9. I gave them $1 extra, and because it's 1, we don't have to write that 1 in front of our n. Okay, so that is just our answer. Negative 8n plus 9n is going to give us 1n. Great job. Okay, let's look at number 7. Okay, number 7, it's asking us to simplify each expression by either adding or subtracting the polynomials. Okay, so we talked about when there's an addition sign. In fact, let's write this note on the side of our paper. Okay, when we are adding them, okay, signs stay the same. Okay, when we are subtracting, the signs after the subtraction sign change. Okay, so that's an important rule. Okay, so let's look at number 7. So you want to look at the sign right in the middle of these 2 parentheses right here. So that's a subtraction sign. So that means the signs are changing. So change your signs after the subtraction sign. Okay, so you can always rewrite the first piece. Okay, just take away the parentheses. That never changes. So we always can write whatever's in here. So 1 minus 5n squared, that stays the same. Okay, then this, it was a positive 5n cubed, but because it's a subtraction sign in the middle, it is now minus 5n cubed. Okay, it was a positive 2. Now it is a negative 2. Okay, so now our second step, okay, so change the signs, and now we need to combine like terms again, if there are any. Okay, so let's look at our first term. Our first term is just a 1, a positive 1. Okay, that means I need to combine it with any other just plain numbers, and yep, or constants. There we go. So we have 1 minus 2. So we're taking away more than we have. 1 take away 2. That'll give me a negative 1. Okay, my next term is a negative 5n squared. So we need the same variable, n, but it also needs to be to the second power. So let's look at this one. It has an n. But this is to the third power. So we cannot combine those. Those are not like terms, okay? So we can't combine those. So the only thing that we could simplify was this 1 and that -2 to turn into a -1. So we'll just write -1. Okay, and then whatever's left over, minus 5n squared, we couldn't combine, negative 5n cubed, we couldn't combine. Okay, you gotta look at the variables, and then the variable's power. Alrighty, okay, let's look at number 8. So look at our sign in the middle. Okay, this time it's an addition sign, so that means the signs stay the same. Okay, so if they stay the same, that's easy. All you have to do is get rid of the parentheses. Okay, so you can rewrite both of them. 5r cubed, remember your first piece always stays the same, 5r cubed minus 3r squared. Okay, it's a positive, so plus 4r cubed, and then minus r squared. Okay, so now we can go ahead and combine those like terms, see if we have any. So my first term is this 5r cubed, so we need the r cubed. So this one is r squared, so that's not gonna work. This one is r cubed, so that one is a like term, and then that one's r squared. Nope. So we can do 5r cubed plus 4r cubed. Okay, well, I have 5r cubes, I'm adding 4 of them, so I have 9r cubes. Okay, my next term is negative 3r squared, so I need the r squared, and that is a like term. So this is negative 1r squared. So we have negative 3r squared, take away another r squared, so we're getting more negative here. So we have negative 4r squared. Okay, now you have both pieces of your simplified expression, so you just rewrite them. 9r cubed minus 4r squared. Those are not like terms, so that is as simplified as it will get. Alrighty, let's do number 9. Okay, notice we're not simplifying anymore. Okay, we're solving. That means we actually have to find an answer. So find answer, or the value of the variable. Okay, we're actually trying to solve, figure out what number does that m need to be. Okay, so you'll remember this from last class, hopefully. So draw your line down your equal sign. So you're always looking at the side with the variable. Okay, that's this right side. Okay, so we need to get this m by itself, which means we need to get rid of or untie the knot. Remember, we need to, I'll write this really quick, untie knot, and then keep it balanced. Okay, meaning do the opposite, untie it, but then do the same thing to both sides. So what is the opposite of minus 16? Opposite of subtract 16 is add 16, okay? So we untied it, but now we have to keep it balanced, so we have to do the same thing to both sides. Okay, bring down what's left over is your m. So now you have negative 30 plus 16. So you're in the negatives, but you're moving towards the positives. Remember, you're always welcome to use a calculator here. So negative 30 plus 16 is going to give you negative 14. Okay, our m is all by itself, but let's go ahead and check, let's go ahead and check the answer. Meaning, plug negative 14 back in for m. Okay, and see if it actually works. So we had negative 30 is supposed to be our answer. We found that m is negative 14 minus 16, okay? Does negative 14 minus 16 equal negative 30? And you can always check this on a calculator if you want to. Okay, so does negative 14 minus 16 equal negative 30? Yes, it does. Okay, so we did that right. So we can go ahead and box up our answer, m equals negative 14. So we didn't simplify this time. We didn't make our sentence smaller. We actually found the answer. M equals this. Okay, let's look at number 10. Okay, and we're solving for the variable on number 10. So first step, let's draw our line down our equal sign. Okay, look at the side with your variable. Okay, it's over here. So we need to get rid of this negative 2, or untie minus 2. What's the opposite of minus 2? Going to add 2. Okay, untie it and keep it balanced. So you have to do the same thing to both sides. Bring down what's left over. That's just your a. And now we have negative 12 plus 2. So again, we're in the negatives, but we're moving towards the positives. So this is going to give me negative 10. Okay, we found our answer. Well, let's plug it in and check. Okay, so we found that a is supposed to be negative 10, so I'm going to plug that into that a spot. So negative 10 minus 2, does that equal negative 12? Okay, and again, you can always use a calculator to check your work, so we'll go ahead and do that, show you how to do that. Okay, so we'd have negative 10 minus 2, and it does in fact give us negative 12, so we got the right answer. Check. So we can box it up. A equals negative 10. And there we go. Okay, your test will be the next class, depending on when that class actually is. That's kind of yet to be decided since we should be coming back to school. But these are your notes. Remember, you can always use notes on your tests, so print them off if you didn't fill them out and use them on your tests. Okay.